If you have ever thought, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep drinking when I say I won't? This workshop is for you. It really is. Because today we're breaking down the pattern behind the starting over, the day ones. And everything on this journey is about valuable feedback. It's not about, you'll hear me say it time and time again. This journey is about progress, not perfection. And I just worked with some new resetters, just really letting you know that when you've got clear direction, that matters a lot more than your speed or how smooth the road is. As long as you're on the road, stay on the road. So let's talk about it. This is a pattern issue. This is not a discipline issue. This is not about self-control and willpower. For years and years, I thought, just get it together, Jen. What is your problem? Try harder. Use everything that you apply to your relationship with exercise or dieting, even though I'm not good at either one of those either. But just apply that go-getter girl attitude to drinking and just try harder and just don't do that. And that did not work for me. In fact, it was counterproductive for me because the more I tried to not drink alcohol while I was valuing it so highly, it actually doubled down and made me drink more, not less, by trying to ignore it, deny it, or suppress my desire for it because I valued it so heavily. So if you can hear me say anything on this first point, it is you are not broken, just your pattern is broken. And the good news, ladies, is that can be fixed. Your pattern can be fixed. You're not weak. This is, again, not a willpower issue. It's not a moral failure. You're not a bad person for wanting to drink alcohol. Once you get going, it's hard to stop. That's not always just you and your brain. It is your brain. It is how we're wired once we get practicing drinking. We create a pathway that creates cravings. But you're not weak, you're just looped. You're not loopy, you're looped. Although drinking can make you loopy, I was in the loop of here's how it went. So I would get a cue, like a trigger, like a signal, like ding, you're at a Mexican food restaurant. Ding, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm at a wedding. I'm sad on my back patio. Whatever the cue was that told me it was time to pour a glass of something. Could have been because I was happy. It could have been because I was sad. It could have been because I was having a great day and I just wanted to keep the party going. Or it could have been because I just felt low-mo in my life and I was like, I can't do anything right. I might as well just drink at it. Whatever, it was a cue. And then the craving. Now, the craving is also physical. Now, I didn't feel like I was physically addicted to alcohol to the point that, like, I know that there is real physical addiction with alcohol. Alcohol is actually a dangerous, addictive substance that does create a thirst for itself. And if you feel like you're physically addicted, it is a different ballgame because you can't just set it down. And you may not know if you are physically addicted to the point that you can set it down. There are multiple ways that you can look into this. You can obviously meet with your doctor. I didn't even know I was going to say this, but I am not a doctor and I don't play one on TV. I don't even claim to be one. I am not here to diagnose anyone or give any medical advice. But if you're not sure if you're physically addicted to the point that you can't stop on your own, go talk to your doctor. Go tell them really what you're drinking. Anyway, I know that I'm working with women in the gray area, but there's a full drinking spectrum. So that's why it's called AUD now instead of are you an alcoholic or are you not? It is not so black and white, ladies. It is not an all or nothing problem or struggle. It is a slippery slope and it is subtle. And as you build tolerance, which I used to think was a good thing, I was like, look at me. I'm awesome. I can keep up with my man and a couple. Yeah, watch me slam this. Not a great thing, guys. Not a badge of honor to have such high tolerance because when you have high tolerance, you also have usually, they go hand in hand in tandem, high dependence because it takes more to get the same effect. So I was like, oh yeah, that's cute. I can have a drink. That's like a joke, like an appetizer to the meal. But for someone who we would consider maybe a lightweight, they would have a glass or two and they'd be like, whoa, that's good. I'd have a glass or two and be like, that was awesome. Let's chase that down. And then I would have another and maybe another. Before I knew it, I was doing the bottle breakdown. But guess what? Even with that amount of drinking, I personally, and again, that's just me personally, could set it down. What I'm trying to say is that craving is physical, but it's also very mental. And the craving is also very emotional because I tied in a tremendous amount of value to my emotional well-being or altered state of mind, really, to alcohol. So then I would get relief. I would take the action of drinking and then I would immediately feel relief. And that ding ding signal or cue that said, "Hey, it's time to drink." And then I felt the relief. Oh man, my body was like, remember that relief. It was not telling me to remember the regret that was going to come later. No, my body was not telling me remember the regret or connect the fact that I'm more anxious after I drink than before I drink. I couldn't make that connection. All I knew in the moment was I was having a cue, like a trigger. I was having a craving. Then I was taking the action of drinking. Then I was feeling the relief. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then boom, then the repeat. And that's the challenge. That's the insidious part of alcohol is the repeat. The pattern has to repeat. And that's the pattern we're talking about breaking. So again, you're not broken, just your pattern might be broken. And that can change because it has a lot to do with our beliefs, our thinking. I wrote in my book, Look Alive, Sis. I had more of a thinking problem than I did a drinking problem. And it's absolutely true. I did. It was more of my thinking than the actual drinking itself. In fact, drinking for me was more like a solution, not a problem. It just wasn't working. And when your brain is wired for efficiency, it is not wired for intention. So remember, our brain is wired to do what is familiar, what takes the least amount of energy and the least amount of resistance. We're just wired that way. We're wired for efficiency. We're not wired for mindfulness. We're not wired to be aware of thinking in the future. We're wired for relief right now, like right now. If things get hard or things are really awesome and you want to celebrate or whatever, we're wired for like immediate gratification. And we live in a dopamine nation, which is the name of an also great book that I've read by Dr. Anna Lemsky. It's called Dopamine Nation. And yeah, shout out because we live in such a dopamine driven world that when we are constantly chasing that dopamine hit and we get temporary relief in a drink, we attach the two. And before we know it, we have a literal neuro pathway that is now carved in our brain. No matter what our intentions are, our pattern is hardwired. So that's why bringing in mindfulness and awareness, which is a buzzword, mindfulness, buzzword, no pun intended. That's why we have to be intentional and override our natural propensity for relief because we're going to remember the relief more than we remember the regret in the moment. And that's why intentionality is the key. So remember, you're not failing. You're just following a well-worn path. When you think you're failing, don't think I'm failing. Think I'm following. And what are you following? When we're not failing, we're following a neuro pathway that we've read it in. But the good news is you can change your neuro pathways. Everything that goes up must come down. So I know that I can have a drink when I want and I can have what I want. I sure can. I can. Nobody's making me be alcohol free. Again, 9 years. Nobody's making me do this. I didn't have to sign up for a court appointed program like mine. We don't do that. Like I didn't have to do that. I chose to do this. It is my choice. It is still my choice. And there's freedom in that. But when the craving comes, I'm like, oh, I recognize the craving. I know, I understand. I get it. I still have cravings. Less for alcohol, more for just ejecting or numbing out of life because life gets livey. And that's when I'm like craving. Cue trigger, craving. can still be there. Now, all of a sudden, I'm still in the driver's seat though, because I'm aware, I'm mindful, I know what's going on. And I also know that there is a heavy price to pay for that 20-minute buzz. Come on, 30 minutes tops. And then you got to drink another one to keep it going. Otherwise, it's going to go down. And there's nothing worse than hitting that euphoric high, that buzz, and being like, and I'm done. 30 minutes. That was fun. No, nobody does that. I don't know anybody. I do actually know a handful of people that just drink one or half of one and leave it. I'm sorry. You're probably not on this call, literally, or watching me. If you're a person that you order a glass and then you leave some in the glass at the restaurant, the one that you ordered, I was the friend that was like, I'm just helping. I'm just helping the waiter clear glasses. I would literally drink other people's drinks. Anyone? Do I have anyone out there? Leave a comment below if that was you. If you're like, oh, or this was me and my girlfriend, y'all. This happened all the time. I'm just giggly about it because it's just so true. We would go out to dinner, little girls' night out, usually again, orchestrated by me. I was a total ringleader. We would go out to our little favorite places where we already knew our table, like our table, and we would order drinks and we would all try to be good because maybe we'd worked out together earlier that day and we would all get our first round. That was customary. And then the waiter or waitress would come back by, can I get y'all another? And we'd be like, we'd all look around at each other. We were really thinking about it. Like we were really contemplating. None of us were. We all knew we were. We'd like, yeah. We'd act like there was like a struggle to decide when really none of my friends, because we all drink very similarly. We were like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess it will. Yeah. And meanwhile, inside we're like, bring it. Where is it? Bring it on. Like, where is it? Bring out the second round. Everyone's all cool and calm about it, like we're loving it. And then the waiter would come back by. Can I get you another? Okay, now that third glass, I'm sorry, socially speaking, when you're out, that's the one where you're like, no, we're gonna look like a kind of a lush on that one. So what we would do, I have a dear friend, I will not name her name just in case she's ever on these calls. Love you, Renee. She and I would look at each other, and there was just a knowing that she wanted another one. I did too. My Lord, we'd been sitting there for 2-3 hours. Okay, hours. I knew she wanted another one. I wanted another one, but we didn't want to be that person that ordered the other one. So we'd be like, I don't know. We'd act like we weren't sure, but we really did. And we were like, I don't know. Do you want to we'll take one more and we'll split it. And we would just totally half a glass of wine just to save face with each other and ourselves. I think we were just making ourselves feel better. So then we would totally do that. We would split the third glass of wine. And then sure enough, we'd be there for another hour because we chatty group of girls. Can I get y'all anything else? Do you want to split? Anybody want to split? And we would just start splitting drinks to get more drinks. Oh my gosh, I'm just looking back. Y'all, this is 9 years ago and it is so fresh on my mind. I can't even tell you this story. I can see myself doing it. And what is that? It is the loop. It is the loop that I am talking about. It is the pattern. And it is so hard to get out of on your own in isolation with a bunch of willpower because it's the substance that's creating a thirst for itself. It's our very alcohol-centric society that is literally the marketing and the messaging, especially towards us as women. It's the rosé all day. It's the poolside, but I'm on vacay. Bring it on at 10. Let's start with the mimosas. Let's have the beer. Let's have the wine. And then we'll end it with like champagne and dessert. I did it. I drank sometimes on vacation for hours, and all socially acceptable, all what we're doing. And that's just a loop. So if you're trying to break out of that, if you're listening to me and you're like, oh my gosh, she is reading my mail, I probably am, because it's my mail too. But I'm here to say there is good news. There is great hope. You can be fun and sober-minded at the same time, and you can break out of this loop. So if you hear me say anything on this point, even though I went on a wild tangent story time, this is a pattern issue, not a discipline issue. This is not about you wanting it more wanting change more, that is, and just trying harder. This is about you having the right tools, strategy, and support, and a lot of grace from above, because I know for sure there's no way I could have done it without my faith. But I also know just my faith by itself, with just me praying alone on my back patio while I'm drinking, asking God to take it away, while I'm hanging on to the wine stem with like literally white knuckles. Take it away. Jesus drank wine. I was so confused. I was literally so confused because I knew I wasn't walking in freedom, but I also didn't want to walk with a bunch of rules and legalism and go back that other way that also seemed way out of balance and not freedom either. I just wanted freedom. And that's what this journey is all about. AF. Okay, so why intentions fade by evening? Can we break it down? Can we talk about why we wake up with such good intentions? Y'all, I was like two different people. Literally, I was living such a divided life with such a divided mind. I would wake up a little bit foggy, a little bit hungover, let's just say it. And being hungover is on a spectrum as well. There's a hangover spectrum, just like there's a drinking spectrum. You can have a hangover. I just feel a little bit of a little foggy, a little dry mouth. You can be like on the ground, like white as a ghost, and look at yourself in the mirror, bloodshot eyes, and think, I want to die right now. That's a spectrum, okay? That's a spectrum, and I've been on all ends of it. I had some gnarly hangovers that I thought, I am never drinking again. How many of y'all have had a hangover like that where you're like, I'm never drinking again. I'm never poisoning. Yes, I see your hands. I'm never poisoning my body like that. And then 3 days later, you're like, I think I'm just going to glass. That's the loop. That is the loop. And I was there many more times than I can count. But why do our intentions fade by evening? What is that? Because it's a thing. And it really is living with a very divided mind. Because the morning brain versus the evening brain, these are like two different pathways as well, because your intentions are different, right? When you wake up in the morning, your intentions are good. They are, I am not going to drink tonight. And your brain is wiring that way. It's firing that way. It's focusing on your workout, your little green juice. I know I had it too. And your salads and all things that you're doing organic. Yeah, I did it all. I did like organic green juice for lunch. Would juice in my own kitchen with my juicer. And then 5 hours later, I am like plowing through Pinot Grigio like it's green juice, but it's not. It's poison. It's ethanol. Anyway, so the morning brain versus the evening brain. So the morning, yeah, you're clear, or ish. If you drank the night before, you may not be as clear. You're motivated. You're logical, because your brain is wired at that point for feeling good, survival, and you know that if you drink too much, it's gonna impair you. So in the morning, nope, you're good. But by evening, you're depleted. How many of y'all show up most evenings just feeling depleted, just drained from the day? I was just talking about it on another call. The decision fatigue, very real. Decision fatigue is just getting tired of choosing. It's just making so many choices during the day. What you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where you're going to drive, what lane are you going to get in to turn. There are so many decisions every day. And if you're getting to 5 o'clock, wine o'clock, trying to decide when you get there, oh, girls, the chances of you hitting the eject button are so high, because they were for me, because my good intentions from that morning faded. They waned. They ran out, because we know that willpower is finite. It has a limit. It has an expiration. It is not limitless. Your willpower is not limitless. But guess what is limitless? Your willingness. Your willingness to show up differently. Your willingness to try again. Your willingness to stay connected. That does not run dry. You can actually renew your willingness by just sitting down and deciding, I'm just going to stay present right now. I want to hit the eject button, but I'm willing to let this craving pass. I'm willing to surf the urge. I'm willing. I don't like it. I don't think I can do it all the time. I can't even do it in an hour from now, but I can do it right now. So I just started noticing that in the evenings I was stressed, I was depleted, decision fatigue, and that I needed to take my pre-deciding morning brain and bring that same neural pathway into my evening. So decision fatigue lowers our resistance to really what it is our goals are. But you're not a different person at night. You're really not. We really are the same. You're just a depleted one. It's easy to think Jekyll and Hyde. I used to think that about myself. I was like, night and day, Jekyll and Hyde, right, wrong, good, bad, pretty ugly. Like everything was so like on, off, binary. Just and what I started to realize was, nope, that girl's still in there. That 10 a.m. Jen is still there. I just need to access her. I just need to, where is she? Where is she? Help, SOS. And that's when I started realizing having strategies for 5 o'clock, 9 o'clock, when I was depleted, when I was stressed, was critical. That's what we're doing in the 21-day reset challenge. And we're following that up with AFL by drilling down into the actual pillars that can create a lifestyle, like a foundation, so that who you are in the morning is who you are in the evening. Because like I said, I felt like I was two different people. There was 10 a.m. Jen, spunky and ready to work out and gonna eat my greens. Then there was 10 p.m. Jen, 3 glasses in, struggling, just listless, just playing small in my own life, just kind of homogenous experience. It was like living in Groundhog Day. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a Thursday night again. It's a Friday night again. It's Saturday night again. Sunday night again. Monday night again. It was like, what made the weekend different than the weekday? Not much. Maybe where I drank. I was just really slipping into the pattern. And then I could take a week off. And I was like, look, see, there you go. I don't have that bad of a problem. I can take a week off, but I'll let you know that week was miserable. It was lame. I felt left out. I felt like I'd cut off my left arm. Felt like I'd lost a best friend and was grieving because I didn't understand that I needed to devalue alcohol instead of value it and just not have it. I wanted to devalue it and kick it to the curb, fire it. Say, you know what? I brought you in closer. That's what I actually ended up doing in 2017 when I started my own personal journey, is instead of trying to ignore alcohol like the elephant in the room and act like it wasn't there, or just play like it was small when I really felt like it was big. Instead, I was like, you know what? Come here. Come get in here. I'm going to look you down. I'm going to stare you down, alcohol. And I did. That's really what I ended up doing that year, was bringing it closer. I started listening to podcasts, reading books, which I share all of the best of what I've learned in my 21-day reset, because I wanted to literally package what I spent my intention on that first year. Instead of 9 o'clock, I was like, we're going on a walk, boys, my dogs. They were so happy. They got a lot of walks in 2017 and 2018 extra. And they still need it today, but lots of walking and lots of retraining my brain. One last thought, we can break the loop with structure. We can't just hope it away. I'm going to dare to say, yeah, there's power in prayer. I'm not here to deny that at all, but I tell you what, praying is great, and God wants you to have freedom, and He wants you to do that in community because we're wired for connection with practical tools. This is not a Lone Ranger. This is a personal journey, but it is not a solo journey. There's a big difference between it being personal. Like everybody has a personal journey here. You have a personal relationship with alcohol. You have a mindset that's unique to you. You have a body like no other. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, what to believe, what to think. It's personal, but it is not solo. Solo is doing things all by yourself and just hoping that you can do it alone, and that if you fail, no one even notices. And then that's when you start getting into mind tricks and negotiations with yourself, and you start telling yourself, just one. Nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. You'll know. And just rebuilding trust with yourself so that you don't want to let yourself down. That's where it gets really juicy. I love that. So you cannot rely on willpower at your weakest moment. What we need is an interruption before we get on autopilot. And that's what we're doing in the reset. That's what we're really honing in on in AFL and beyond. That's really what this whole sober minded journey is all about. It is about waking up in your own life, getting off of autopilot. It's not about never having a cue or a trigger. It's not about never having a craving. It's about what you do when they come. And that's where getting off of autopilot and bringing in the interruption of this regularly scheduled program of just drinking on autopilot has been interrupted. You got to wake yourself up. You got to snap out of it. You got to even say your name. Sometimes I would just say that. I learned that from my friend Stacy. She has a master's degree in behavioral neuroscience. Yes, she is a real neuroscience person. You got to say your name to snap you out of it. So I'd be walking around and I'd be like, Jen, that loud, Jen, stop, put it down. I'd be in the grocery store cruising around my little cart. There are 25 points of purchase at my local Target. Wheeling around and there'd be an end cap of red wine, little Cabernet, by the meat. Wait, I'm just trying to buy a rump roast to put in the crock pot. What in the world? Now I've got to face off with all this red wine. Come on. Give me a break. Just going to buy a bag of chips for my son. Loves chips. Oh, there's a beer at the end of that end cap. 25 places in one grocery store. I had the opportunity to buy alcohol. And where it got me every time that I was stuck in the detox loop. I'd make it through the store 24 times. I'd be like, no, no, no. The morning Jen was waning. The nighttime Jen was speaking real loud. And they got me at the cash wrap. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Where you're like, yes, thank you for that hand. Where you're checking out and there's a long line and it's like a BOGO. It's like a buy one, get one, or like a 2 for $10, a bottle of wine for $5. So I would be like, one for tonight, one for another night, one for the storm's rolling in. I'll be having one on hand. And then what would happen is that would be the 2-bottle breakdown because I could rope my husband into helping me drink it. So we would drink 2 glasses together from the first bottle, and then I would open the second bottle because I already had it on hand, just as a little nighttime sleep aid, just in the little bathtub, just to have a little little nightcap. Oh my gosh, they got me at the cash wrap. So you got to go in knowing. You've got to go in awake, alert, aware, be vigilant, people, because alcohol really is marketed to us as so socially acceptable, so casual. So casual. And what we don't realize is it's gripping in by creating this craving that eventually really does become a full-blown addiction. And that's just over time for anybody who drinks long enough and hard enough. It's just going to create more of a thirst for itself. So we cannot rely on willpower at our weakest point. We need interruption before autopilot. Examples of interruption before autopilot. Change your environment. I was just talking to a reset group and I'm like, you know what? I don't go to the grocery store. I can now. 9 years in, it's taken me almost a decade to be able to go to the grocery store close to 1 o'clock. But early days, I was like, no way. It's a jungle out there. Treacherous to go into a grocery store at 4 p.m. with 25 places to buy alcohol. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to try to do it. So I would change my environment. I would start going to the grocery store in the morning when morning brain was working. I'd go knock out my grocery shopping at 10 a.m. So by 4 p.m., I am nowhere near a point of purchase because it was too much of a challenge. Then you can pre-decide your evening. You can't just take alcohol out and leave a void. You've got to be able to put something else there that you're excited about or that's refreshing or even a reward, even a treat, and then have that replacement ready. And I'll finish with this and just say, in the 21-day reset challenge, these are the type tools that we're talking about, literally, like literal replacements for 1 o'clock. Actual things to do and say when you're in a social setting where you're feeling the pressure, even at our ages, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. maybe even 80 out there. We've got some 80-year-old sober-minded sisters, which is pretty cool. But no matter what age you are, there is a weird peer pressure that can go on out there, even as grown-ups, that you have to know what you're going to do with it. So this is about retraining your brain. This is about creating a new pattern. And that takes time. So in the 21-day reset, we're changing the way you look at alcohol. In AFL, which is for anybody who's ever done a 21-day reset, we're literally creating a different relationship with alcohol. Now we're getting into the practice zone where you really can change your brain. And then these Quest ladies who are here are awesome because they're just taking the show on the road. We're just taking the tools and applying them in real life, practicing, not focused on perfection ever, anywhere in Sober Sis land do we focus on perfection. We really do focus on presence, progress, versus perfection and performance. All the P's, so many P's, gosh, a lot of P's. But anyway, I am so glad that you're here. And please, again, know if you hear me say anything, you're not broken. Just your pattern might be broken, and that can be changed through repetition, practice, support, and strategy. Literally, you need some strategy, and I know I did practical stuff, and that's what I'm here to teach, to hopefully inspire, and again, make it fun, make it positive that you are setting alcohol aside, because alcohol is not making you more fun, it's dulling your spark. Seriously, welcome to so much more than you can imagine right now. So with that, I'll see y'all out there. Bye everybody. Adios.